Welcome, and thanks for listening to Intrinsic Investigations. My name is Mr. Olivo, and I created this podcast because I've been fortunate enough over the last decade to see unique and thought-provoking projects happen in my classroom, and we wanted a place to showcase them. The true heart of this podcast lies not in the content discovered, but in exploring the personal stories of these young researchers as they journey through uncharted and unfamiliar intellectual terrain. By sharing their stories, we hope to normalize the challenges and frustrations that come with independent research, and also share those moments where students transcend the normal grind of the school day to discover concepts that range from the global to deeply personal. We will begin with a brief introduction to the student of focus, why they picked their topic, and discuss their growth over the course of the last year. It should be mentioned that the opinions expressed in this podcast in no way reflect the opinions of our school district, Bergen County Technical Schools and Special Services, or our school itself, Bergen County Technical High School, Teterboro, or the College Board. The work detailed in this podcast was most likely completed in AP Capstone, but this podcast is in no way affiliated with the College Board. For this episode, Brian is going to examine user commentary on TikTok regarding Fad Diets. My guest today is going to introduce himself in a moment. We'll get into the nature of his work, but let him know who you are.
All right, so my name is Brian Cho, and I'm a junior in the Law and Justice major, and today I'll be discussing my AP research project, or just my paper, I guess.
Well, I mean, you gave a paper, you gave a presentation.
Yeah, so,
you did a lot of things, Brian. Don't sell yourself short. Okay, all right. So, Brian, what was the nature of your work? What were you trying to explore this year?
So my research, I was trying to investigate the comments of users regarding Fad Diet, and what I was trying to investigate mostly was whether or not the users perceive these Fad Diet content as either positive or negative. And before I should explain my exact data I found, I feel like I should first explain what a Fad Diet really is.
Sure, yeah.
So I don't really remember this, but I think, according to Isa Tarim, the exact definition of a fad diet is a fast way to lose weight fast. So these videos on TikTok basically portray different types of diets and videos on different diets and methods on how to lose these weights. So one of these diets consists of the Mediterranean diet, which consists of a lot of Mediterranean food that are consumed in order to lose weight fast, as they're mostly healthy.
All right, so this is interesting too, because you did. So the class that you're doing research in this class, but you did do Fad Diet. I guess not research, but you were introduced to Fad Diets apparently in your biology classes this year. You want to talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, that's true. So basically, in bio class, we learned about macromolecules, and then basically, we learned, I low-key forgot about it, but we learned about the different macromolecules. So basically carbs, proteins, lipids, and fat, or
lipids are fats.
Yeah,
okay.
lipids are fats.
It's all right. It's all right.
I forgot the fourth. I'm pretty sure there's a fourth one, but
nucleic acids.
Yeah, nucleic acids, and then basically we were researching different diets that consisted of solely only carbohydrates or proteins or whatever, depending on our diets, and then we just wanted to discuss the exact effects on our diets. However, one thing that was noted was that some of these fad diets, although some may be considered a diet, some are considered lifestyles as well. So.
And you mentioned the Mediterranean diet. I believe in talking to your bio teachers, they were saying that they considered the Mediterranean diet a lifestyle, but for the purposes of your research, you considered it a fad diet. And do you want to explain why you did that?
Yeah, so I mostly just constricted it towards the definition that Isa Tarim made it, and then she classified it as a fad diet and not necessarily a lifestyle. So basically, I just wanted to do in terms of her research, because she did have prior research on the exact health implication of all the diets that I researched in my investigation. So I wanted to tailor it towards that.
Is it because the Mediterranean diet, in the way that it's being viewed in the research, is viewed as primarily a weight loss method, or is there something I'm missing here in the conflict of the definition?
Or it's mainly tailored to be a weight loss or method to lose weight.
Oh, okay, so when it's talked about that on social media, even though it might be considered a lifestyle in some contexts, for your work, it's being considered a a fad diet in that case when it's being solely used as a weight loss strategy?
Yeah, so some of the videos that I researched, all those like 50, like around like some were like saying it was a lifestyle. I mostly contributed to videos that were like mainly focused on like the weight loss aspect of using the Mediterranean diet, or like any diets that are considered a lifestyle.
Okay, and you viewed this on TikTok, and we will have a later episode with Elise where she will talk about how she used TikTok. But why did you use TikTok to examine fad diets? What was important about going to that space?
Mostly because I wanted to watch TikToks in class. But okay,
This guy's got jokes. He's got podcast jokes.
No, but wait, can you repeat the question?
Yeah, why did you we're going to get into your method in a moment, but I know you use TikTok to try to look at this phenomenon of fad diets. You know, you have Amelie's work where she looked at not fad diets, but definitely eating disorders in the context of Tumblr, if I'm not mistaken. So why for you, she selected Tumblr. Why did you select TikTok as the best representation of what's going on out there with regard to fad diets?
Well, because I feel like for my demographic, as I'm a teenager, I feel like TikTok is mostly used among like children and adolescents and just teenagers in general. And as it fits my demographic, we are highly susceptible towards newer information due to like peer pressure and societal pressures. And I feel like in order to learn more about like the exact effects of TikTok, of like how it could influence our actions, and like when we view these contents like daily, like on an hourly basis, I feel like we should be more educated on like how it could like potentially like affect our lifestyles.
Had you ever noticed fad diet material before in the TikToks that you were watching, or
yeah? I mean, it wasn't like, because TikTok uses like a certain algorithm which like tailors certain content. Mm-hmm. And although I wasn't like, my content consisted of like just like random stuff, not mostly fad diets, but sometimes these fad diets video would come to my page and I would like question like the actual like healthiness, because during that time I had no idea what like an actual fad diet was. And I just thought like, there's one TikTok that I remember watching. It's like this health influencer who was promoting weight loss, and basically she tailored a lot of the calories, and it was like, when you added all these calories up, it was like 1,000. And I know the daily calorie consumption is 2,000, and I felt that it was like extremely unhealthy just from an outside point of view. And I just wanted to like just learn more about it and like what this community overall was.
Okay, so this does have some similarities with what Amelie's interview talked about, where the material, it just was, you were just on the internet as you were, and then the material found you more or less prior to you engaging in the research project. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I guess. Like,
you can let me know I'm not accurate. You can tell me how I'm wrong. It's fine.
No, I say it's like 50-50. Like, yeah, definitely like I had some prior interest towards like developing my research, although like this wasn't like the main research I wanted to focus on. It was something that I had enough interest to like actually pursue it.
Okay, cool. How many hours would you say you consume of TikTok in a day outside of AP research?
Probably, I don't want to be honest here because it's kind of bad, but maybe like 3 to 5, like probably like 1/4 of my a lot of hours.
So 3 to 5 hours a day. It's okay, no shame. I'm asking because it's going to lead into the next question I'm asking about. So that 3 to 5 hours a day, how much do you feel? You were just mentioning that you were looking at this content, the calorie intake versus what is the RDA recommended amount of calorie intake just seemed off. Are there other instances where you have come across content, if it's school appropriate, that has resonated with you as just seeming off, and yet it's in your feed and you find yourself having to check the veracity of it?
Yeah, I guess, or not like the validity of it, but like actually like, yeah, some of the content that I come across on TikTok, like I can't name like specific examples, but there are like certain like it promotes like racism and like, I guess like discrimination sometimes, like sometimes these jokes are very sexist, and I feel like that's like a bad place to like spread on TikTok, because it's like, there's these like comments, or like there's trends on TikTok which like sometimes they like copy and paste certain comments, and then and a lot of people do it. I see like on like multiple videos, and I feel like it's like a way to spread like negativity. Also, like certain like types of content, I guess like gym type of content could be wrong as well, and it could be like teaching like incorrect form, or like be promoting like these like intense workout routines, when it's better to do like just like be more relaxed and not be like too intense, I guess.
So as an avid consumer of TikTok content, and even right there, you exercised your critical thinking with it. Do you feel that it is important for teenagers in particular, if they're on it, to be very critical of what is happening on there, like on TikTok? Or have you grown? Have you noticed? And another question is, have you noticed that your critical thinking about what's on TikTok has changed over the course of this project?
Yeah, I definitely think I became like more aware. Like honestly, the main reason why I use TikTok is just to get like dopamine and just to like relax.
This guy's being really honest right now. It's just about that dopamine. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then just like it's just a way, like my form of just like relaxing and just like relieving stress. And I feel like when you're using TikTok, you should be like too aware. But like when you come across like content that obviously is overall negative and like spreads like incorrect content, it should be like you should be aware of these. Like I just like while you're watching TikTok, like if you like come across like an informative video, I feel like that's when you should like have like the those like a wall in your head to like block it out, or just be like aware, oh, this is false, I guess.
Okay. And this is a great segue into what did you do? Because again, your work is original research. So what was your method to analyze the fad diet representations that you had been collecting and examining on TikTok? Can you walk people through the steps of your work?
Yeah, so my methodology consisted of using a sentiment analysis, and I used a text analyzer tool called Meaning Cloud, and my whole like method consisted of using this tool and taking I took hashtags initially to categorize the videos, and then after that I'd use a random number generator or random selection method, and then choose these random videos, and if it fit like a certain criteria, I would choose that video. Then after that, I would look through the comments, also use a random number generator, select the comments, and if it fitted with my criteria or like a codes developed by Marisa Minadel, then I'll use that comment. Then I'll put it in the Meaning Cloud, where it'll analyze the polarity of the comments and other stuff as well. And in there, I would analyze a total of 250 comments around 5 of the hashtags, and 5 of the hashtags consist of 10 of the videos. So 50 videos in total, 250 comments, and 5 hashtags, basically.
And the criteria that you had, because you mentioned that several times, the criteria for the videos you selected were what?
It just had to like, I have this like, I guess like list, but basically it just had to like just the main gist of it. It had to like fit in with the video content, because sometimes people would just joke around and like I mentioned before, they'll just like copy and paste like certain comments, and sometimes these comments were just like adding their friends or whatever. And I wanted to like get to like the whole point of my research is to find out how users perceive this type of content. So like anything related towards the content itself and like the user's opinion on it, like, oh, this diet is good or whatever, that would be like classified as one, if that's like makes sense.
Oh, great. And what did you find out?
Overall that the overall sentiment of users on TikTok had a positive view of these fad diets. And this basically meant that connecting with other works of research, basically this means that users are less inclined to like really like question the validity, and they're like more inclined to like spread this content throughout their friends, and then just like it just creates this whole like community within that has like this positivity around it. So like it just like reinforces like the influence of these fat diets, so people adopt it more.
Do you want to give, I don't know that you specifically mentioned this, but I know we talked about the Mediterranean diet earlier. Do you want to give the fad diets that were part of your study real quick so people know?
Yeah. So the 5 fad diets I listed was Mediterranean, the keto, the Atkins diet, detox, and vegan diet.
Okay. And again, vegan and Mediterranean in most contexts would be considered lifestyle.
Yeah.
But because, correct me if I'm wrong, but because they were part of a previous study that you're using as your foundation and the way that they're being posed as weight loss strategies, that's why you consider them more fad diets.
Yeah, just like anything, like basically I just took like the content that like promoted it as a lifestyle out and just like mainly focus on videos that like focus the weight loss aspect of it.
So I'm going to throw an example out there. If you come across a post that is talking about veganism, but it isn't talking about the ethical concerns that a vegan might have, it's more, hey, don't eat any meat or meat products if you want to lose 5 pounds in 2 weeks or something like that. Is that something that would fit into the fad diet category for you? From that example you said, basically it's like instead of talking to morality, it's just saying, oh, if you incorporate this diet, it'll make you lose weight. Yes.
Oh yeah, so yeah, that would be classified as like one of the videos I would like mark up.
So the flip of that, if somebody made a video about veganism, but it was about animal cruelty and animal rights, that wouldn't be part of the study because there's nothing about weight loss included.
Yeah, it would be like completely irrelevant because like that's just more on like a completely different issue of like these diets. Yeah,
just making sure again for reproducibility that we're being clear on that. Of the diets you just mentioned, is there any one that had the highest level of positive sentiment associated with it from your meeting cloud experiments?
Yeah, so from what I remember, I'm pretty sure the keto diet had the most amount of positive polarity, and I think the reason behind it is because I classified these hashtags by the number of posts and views it had, and then the keto diet was actually the most popular one. So I'm guessing that because it has such a high positive sentiment already, and since it already has like this huge community revolved around it, I guess like since the community continues to promote this as like a positive good and an easy way to lose weight while being healthy as well, a lot of users actually adopt this because it's like I'm pretty sure if you search up fad diets on TikTok, keto would probably be like one of the first forms that come up, and then since it already has like such a positive and there's so much videos around it, that's why it has such a positive sentiment, because the whole community.
We only have about 2 minutes left. What do you think is the biggest takeaway you got from this year? It could be related to the content. It could be related to your process. It could be related to how you view TikTok on a day-to-day basis. But what do you think the most important thing you took away from doing this work is?
Like regarding my work or just like AP research in general?
Either. I don't mind.
Honestly, this like just doing this whole research just made me like want to start a new research paper. I feel like there were definitely many ways I could improve on my own research, and I could definitely like find many faults towards it. And I guess like overall, like the main takeaway was like this was my first time doing a research paper, and like the experience I got from doing this class was definitely, I think, profound, and it could like carry me through like other different classes like biology, for example. I just feel like the independence and the freedom I have, and just like knowing what to do next for when I'm like researching something will like carry on towards like my classes.
Great. Any last words for any students out there who might want to pursue independent research in the future? Any advice? Any pearls of wisdom you got?
Make sure like you actually know what you're doing, because at the beginning I was like very lost until like the middle of the year. So I guess like find like your foundational sources first. Make sure it's feasible enough to research, and make sure there's a lot of research regarding it. And I guess just like do something what you enjoy and like what you actually have interest in, and not trying to like appeal towards, I guess, like College Board can I?
Yeah, you can say the College Board.
College Board.
We have nothing to do with the College Board.
Yeah.
Yes.
Obviously.
I mean, thank you for the class, College Board, but we do not represent anything regarding none of the opinions expressed here have anything to do with the College Board or AP research. Just so happens to be the class we're in. So now that we've taken care of that one, Brian, say goodbye to everybody.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Brian. See you later.